There used to be originally, when I first purchased this, there used to be copper. Whoa. Which is a brilliant idea, but on the other hand, there's no...
Good morning from Burnsville, North Carolina, and we're leaving Burnsville, North Carolina. I've spent about 6 days with my good friends Brad and Debbie at their beautiful home, and just had a really, really wonderful time just reacquainting ourselves. They lived in California for a long time, and they said I was their first California visitor, so I was honored to do that. Saw some great things while I was here. Some really nice exhibits, museums. Took a drive on the Blue Ridge Parkway. That was beautiful. Spent a little bit longer time here than I had originally planned on because if you've watched the previous videos, you knew that I replaced the pinion gear on the Blazer when I was in Texas. Well, it started making noise. Not started making noise, and it always made noise. And I thought, well, the new bearings are going to wear in and they're going to be fine. They were still making noise. So while I was here, Brad knew a good mechanic in town named Pat, and he took a look at the Blazer. Now, the problem with a lot of these small towns is that these mechanics are not open on the weekends. So I arrived on a Friday and had to wait until Monday, and then took the Blazer in to see the mechanic, and he said, well, I can look at it tomorrow, which would be Tuesday. So, all right, he looked at it on Tuesday and then gave me a call, but I didn't get the call on my phone. Cell phone up here is not the best. So he left a voicemail just saying, call me back. So I called him back first thing on Wednesday morning. And what the issue was, he says that it's a pattern issue, was his words. He said that the old bearings had worn in such a way that the pinion gear was used to that old bearing. They put in a new bearing, and now the new bearing is trying to push the pinion gear back into its original position, and it's getting what Pat called a harmonic noise. So he says, you should be fine for the rest of the trip. Don't worry about it. No guarantees, of course. He says, I'm quoting here, I don't have a crystal ball, but you should be fine. So we're back on the road. Today we're heading down to Columbia, South Carolina, about a 3-hour drive, 192 miles. And we're hoping for a good drive. It's about 9:40 in the morning. I don't know if you saw in the video, but leaving Brad and Debbie's house, they are way up on a hill with some very steep hills. Getting the trailer up there was fun. Coming down, I just really took it slow and easy. Anyways, we're going to have a good time and glad you're here. We just entered South Carolina. We are about maybe an hour and a half away from our destination. This is my 10th state on this trip, and it's a big trip. It's a long trip. One thing I was going to mention earlier, driving through Burnsville, North Carolina, where my friends live, they were hit very hard by Hurricane Helene. So even over a year later, you're seeing debris piles, wrecked buildings, abandoned buildings. We drove by this one car lot, and it was nothing but wrecked cars that had been caught in the flooding. and they're just slowly getting rid of things. So there's a memorial in downtown Burnsville to the victims of Helene and to the they're in Yancey County, so it's all about the county and the city, and they're still struggling to recover and getting a lot of things back in. But yes, being from California, we're just not used to seeing things like that. So anyways, we should be at our destination in about, like I said, about another hour and a half. I think this is probably the best time at any RV park. Sun just set. It's very quiet. I'm all set up. Dinner is over. It's cooling down. There's just a quietness that descends on the park. All right. Back inside. Well, we left the trailer park a little bit late this morning. Stopped at Waffle House because when you're in the South, you kind of have to. About 2.5 hours to go down to Townsend, Georgia, and we left Columbia, South Carolina this morning. So again, weather's holding up. It's about 74 degrees outside. I had made a post on Facebook. I don't know how many people saw it, but when I was leaving Burnsville, the bolt that was on my trailer jack sheared off. So my temporary workaround to get the trailer hooked up was that I used the scissor jack that I had in the front to raise up the trailer to get it hitched up. And that was fine until I got to the campground and I needed to lower it and stabilize it. I mean, I could lower it, but if I tried to stabilize the trailer, it wasn't supported on one corner, so it tended to tilt towards that corner, which is not good. So fortunately, I was able to find a Harbor Freight near me, only 3.5 miles away. Drove over there, bought a bolt-on tongue jack, came back to the campsite and spent an hour or so putting that on. In my toolkit, I didn't have a big enough socket for the bolt, so I ended up using a crescent wrench and some channel locks. Once I got that on, I had to take the scissor jack. I had to put the new tongue jack on the opposite side of the tongue where the old tongue jack was. The old tongue jack is welded on, so it wouldn't come off. So I got that on, but then I had to move the scissor jack from the curbside to the street side of the trailer. So 4 bolts off, move it over, put it back up again. And after that, everything worked well. The trailer's back in fighting trim, as they say. The only problem is I can't use the drill to raise and lower the tongue jack anymore. So that's sad, but oh well, we work around it. Of the 3 things that I use the drill for, to raise the roof, to do the stabilizers, and the tongue jack is probably the easiest one to deal with. Anyway, so got that resolved. Was super tired last night. Had a good dinner. Campground had good Wi-Fi, so I was able to sit in the trailer and relax, watch some TV, and enjoy a good meal. So I'm going to get down to Townsend, Georgia, probably about 3 o'clock, a little bit later than I was anticipating, but I'm not in a rush, right? But pretty drive through the southern U.S. today. Well, welcome to Lake Harmony RV Park. This place is just gorgeous. It's in Townsend, Georgia. Checked in about 40 minutes ago, got all set up, and it's just a beautiful little park. It really, really is. Even has its own little private beach here. Perfect weather. It's probably in the mid 70s. Lovely out here. Walking through this lovely little campground. You're not seeing a lot of those really huge fifth wheel trailers. These are much smaller. Smell of pines is heavy in the air. Probably one of the best campsites I've stayed in on this trip. And there is Howie. Well, good morning. We are in Georgia, just left the campground, doing 62 on I-95 South, heading down into Florida. It's 72 degrees. I know at some point today I'm going to turn on the air conditioner. I just know it. About a 4-hour drive today from down. I'm going to go down to an RV park in Kissimmee and just spend the night there. I may go over to City Walk at Universal or Disney Springs and just walk around, maybe have dinner over there or something. Don't know. We'll see. Good night last night. Beautiful campground. But I woke up at about 4 a.m. because I could hear traffic noise. And as I said in the previous video, I sleep with earplugs. So there was something going on that was amplifying the noise. Anybody smarter than I am that could, tell me, but atmospheric bouncing, I don't know what it is, but it was just so much louder than it was when I went to sleep. But good night, relaxing night in the trailer, made a good dinner, took a shower. That's important. And wandered around, talked to some folks in the campground, and just enjoyed my time there. So yeah, it's going to be a good day. I think I've said that already. What do you listen to when you're on the road? I mean, I've got a music playlist, but I've also got these old-time radio programs. Like I'll listen to Dragnet. I found a radio serialized version of the old Twilight Zone show that I listened to. I listened to Lord of the Rings, done by the BBC. Just stuff to keep my mind occupied. Sometimes music is fine, it just keeps going, but sometimes I like to be a little entertained. Anyways, that's what I do. See you in a bit.
Welcome to Florida.
Did you get that? We are officially in Florida. This is my 12th state on this trip so far. It's going to be the state I'm going to spend the most time in. I'm going to be here for a little over 2 weeks, visiting family, some friends, just sightseeing. Going to get down to Key West, at least I hope to. But yeah, I'll probably mention this in my recordings tomorrow, but tomorrow will be pretty much the halfway point on this trip as far as mileage and time on the road. So yeah, exciting times, at least for me. Anyways, we got about another 180 miles to go before we get to the RV park. So just going to enjoy the view. Got all set up at the RV park, decided to come over here to Splitsville at Disney Springs and get some dinner, walk around. It's pretty crowded, so I was very surprised to be able to walk right in and get a table. So that worked out well. Just walking around, seeing what's to see. It's a very nice evening, probably mid 70s, low humidity. Just very pretty out here. No, I'm not going to go up in the balloon.
That car gets a lot lower than you think.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
No, yeah, you don't belong in that car, bro.
You put me in there. I'm trying to do a summary real quick.
Good morning from Central Florida. Today marks roughly the halfway point in my trip, both in time spent on the road and in mileage. I am also the furthest I've been away from home as of this morning, 2,500 and change miles from home. And as a big rig truck suddenly realized he needed to exit and cut across 2 lanes of traffic. But fortunately, there was enough room for me. Scary stuff. But as I head further south, I am going to still be getting further and further from home until I leave Key West. And then from there, the mileage will slowly every day start shrinking on my way home. So, heading down to just outside of St. Petersburg, Tampa, I think, to visit a friend of mine that I've known since high school that I have not seen in literally decades. Then heading down to Cape Coral to see my lovely niece and her husband and her 3 kids. I'm going to spend a few days with them, and that was going to be really great. Looking forward to seeing that. I love them to bits. And people are speeding past me. Wow. Anyways, crazy day on the Florida interstate. I'm doing 62, speed limit is 70. What can I say? All right, it's a little overcast. It's 85. I went over to Disney Springs last night after I got hooked up at the campsite. And just a note about the campground. It was called Sherwood Forest, and nice campground, good amenities, lots of space between RVs and all that. But weird thing, first time I've seen this on this trip, they charge for Wi-Fi. $8 a day for Wi-Fi. Never seen that on this trip. But anyways, went over to Disney Springs, went to a restaurant called Splitsville, and was surprised, it being a Saturday, it being very crowded, that I was able to just walk in. They found me a table and set me right down. So enjoyed a local beer called an Orange Blossom. It was a Pilsner, and it was actually quite good. Had a really, really good turkey club sandwich, and then just kind of wandered around for a little bit. Looked at all the people. Took the bus up to the Polynesian Resort there at Disney World. Always been my favorite resort. I stayed there back in 1992. And then rode the monorail over to Magic Kingdom and just looked around, took a picture of myself in front of Magic Kingdom, and took the ferry across the boat or the lake, monorail back to Polynesian, and then the bus back to Disney Springs. And all that made for a very tired Mark. I got back to the pop-up. I was just, what's the term? Knackered. Just crawled in bed, read for a little bit, then just went to sleep. Had the air conditioner on because it was only in the about 75, but it's humidity. So I had the air conditioner on until about 3:30, and then I turned it off because it was comfortable enough inside. But this morning, got up and temperature rises quick, turn that air conditioner back on while I was having breakfast and coffee. So anyways, no crazy trucks for a few minutes, so I'm seeing that as a sign of something good. All right, we'll talk to you down the road.